November isn't really known for its great weather, especially here on the Isle of Man, where from now until early next year, it's gray and rainy and very, very windy. And so when we get days like today that are sunny and clear, even if they are a bit blustery, we've got to take advantage of them. Get out in the garden, get those things done that we have been meaning to do. And I have plenty here at the allotment that I need getting done. So today what I'll be doing is picking some winter veg, so that will include leeks, I think maybe some parsnips, carrots, maybe some cabbage, and then also planting garlic and doing a few tasks like adding some compost manure as mulch for some of my beds. Well, this is going to be really interesting because I'm filming this right now without knowing whether or not I'm on the frame or 100% sure if it's even recording, because the camera just tipped over in the wind, and I think that it's functional, but the LCD on the back is hanging by a little cable. It's not working at all, so I can't actually review any images or video or even see if I'm actually being recorded, but we'll try it out. Apologies for any blurriness, and hopefully I'm in the frame. So what I'd like to do right now is just dig a row of potatoes here, and then I'm going to go over to the carrots and dig some of those. And I've just actually removed the carrot fly netting, and that was on earlier in the summer, or throughout the summer really, to keep carrot flies away from the carrot so that the carrot doesn't actually get affected by the larva of that insect. But their time is now past and it's winter, time to actually clear up any kind of netting that isn't necessary, because it'll just get blown around in the wind and could become a hazard for wildlife, which is why I've also removed the strawberry netting as well. No need for it. I've left the frame up, so I will put the netting back on next year, but I've put the netting away for the winter. I've taken out my frustrations of busting the camera on this bed, and I have dug more than just a row. In fact, I dug over a couple of rows that I'd already dug, and I found a few more potatoes. And then I've got some from the main row that I was planning on. And so there's a good few here, and I've hosed them off just so that we can have a look at the colors, and then I'll clean them off a little bit better later. These are just a standard Desiree. And these ones are definitely the winner of all the potato varieties that I grew this year. It has purple skin, but a really nice white flesh to it. And this is one that I accidentally speared. And just a really nice fluffy texture, creamy but fluffy, and good flavor. So I would definitely recommend that one if you're thinking of trying a new potato for next year. As a gardening YouTuber, I find it fascinating how many people from around the world tune in to watch my videos. I have people from the United States and Britain, but also people from India, from Africa, from all over the place. And that's really interesting because each one of us will have different climates, different plants that will do well in those climates, and even if you are quite temperate, so similar in a way to the Isle of Man, you may have different sowing times and planting techniques that will enable you to grow a harvest. And one of the biggest things, a big difference I think between here and a lot of places, is that we don't get really cold winters. So it's rare for us to get snow. if we do have frost or a bit of snow, it's gone quickly and it's never really that cold. I say that as my fingers are starting to go a little bit numb. But in any case, when it comes to things like root vegetables, in particular carrots and radishes and things like that, I can leave them in the ground. Potatoes as well. I can leave them in the ground until I need them and then dig them up throughout the winter. In other places, it gets a bit too cold, and if the ground freezes, those root vegetables can freeze too, and then as the ground thaws, they basically go mushy. Just think about putting vegetables, some vegetables in the freezer, and what happens afterwards. So when I'm digging up vegetables and harvesting them now, it might not be something that you can do in your own garden. Over here in this patch are a few things that I'm going to pick today, and quite a few that I'm going to leave until later. First off, I've got some green onions, and I think I'll take a good handful of these. And then I'm going to dig up a couple of the leeks, the big leeks over here. I'll leave the smaller ones over here to keep growing. I'll leave the beetroot over there. And then I will get some of this chard as well. The garden trug is pretty full now. I've got plenty in here for the weekend and part of next week. So with the potatoes and the carrots, which are on the bottom, there are a few really good sized leeks, and then parsnips and some green onions here as well. I was going to take some of the black Spanish radishes, which are winter radish, and I've got some growing in a row over here. You can see just the tops there. Really big roots on those. But I think I'll just leave those in for now, because I can just leave them here, kind of like an outdoor refrigerator, and come back to them when I really need them. Now, obviously, we all know that working out in the garden in spring and summer is a joy. We're excited about those first seeds starting to come up, and seedlings and plants start filling our greenhouses and our gardens, and it's just warm. But autumn is also a great time to be doing things outside, but it is a completely different set of tasks. So there are a few things that can be planted and sorted out right now as far as plants, and that includes putting in your garlic, which you can do now until the winter solstice, which is December 21st. But most of the things that we can be doing right now is not plant related. It's more about building new beds, enriching the soil, protecting the soil over the winter, and also putting in structures. So that could be raised beds. You could put in supports for your plants. So here at the allotment, I have the blackberry trellis and the raspberry trellis, both of which I built in the winter. So there are tons of things to be doing. Pathways is another. So on days like today, get outside, get some of those big jobs out of the way so that next year, next spring, you can focus on growing all those plants and knowing that you won't have to do those big jobs that will compete for your time. On the left there, I I planted 5 elephant garlic and then just a couple of the hardneck garlics at the very bottom. But I had so many and I really want to grow that garlic again, so I've made space. So there is a 5th row of garlic in there. We're gonna have loads again next year. I absolutely love garlic. And then I also want to show you that when I separated the cloves off of these heads of garlic, I only chose the really big ones. All the littler ones, or the medium-sized ones, are gonna go for the kitchen because these won't grow really large bulbs and plants, at least not as large as the larger cloves. So it's not really worth planting these guys. Go for the big cloves when you're planting garlic. The rain has moved in and I'm getting drenched. So it's time for me to head home. I also need to make some phone calls to see if I can sort out repairs for the camera. Yay! Wish me luck. And in the meantime, I'm gonna figure out something else. Woo! Yes, the weather really is coming in. Oh, yes, I will be sorting things out so that there will be more videos. Don't worry about that at all. Until then, thanks for watching me get drenched. And I'll see you next time here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now. One last thing before you go. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to Lovely Greens and click that little bell icon so that you get notifications for when new videos are out.